welcome to the Executive Lounge live on your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, celebrating 25 years of exceptional and excellent broadcasting. And we're hoping to bring you more great conversations and showcasing some of the best minds on the show. Now, this afternoon, I'm joined by a man who is an authority on the use of technology for self-paced education in Ghana. He's the founder and CEO of eCampus LLC, co-founder of EIL and Sold App LLC. Lectured at two universities, is corporate training consultant in technology, computer science, buff, BSc and MBA in entrepreneurship and global business sustainability, Singularity University, and he is the 2017 alumni. Now, this man is a super intelligent person, and I've been wanting to have this important conversation about leveraging technology in development. Now, tech has impacted on our lives, from the way we do healthcare, the way we travel, the way we communicate. But can it have an impact on the way we develop human capital across the continent and across this country? Joining me in the studio is Cecil Sena Nutako, an education technology entrepreneur and, of course, the founder of eCampus LLC. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nhyira. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, it's
a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
It's been 2 weeks already since the Crystal Ball Africa, and we engaged in some very passionate conversations, which has culminated in this conversation, because I feel it's something that we should be able to get the world to hear. Unfortunately, we've got very little time. We have up until 2 o'clock, so we're going to dive straight into this. So let me learn a little more about you. For the benefit of our audience, what was the inspiration that led to you tinkering around and coming up with the eCampus concept?
Okay, so I didn't know I was going to come up with anything this significant, but I had a personal problem that I felt if I'm able to solve that personal problem, I could save my face. And that problem, I've shared this quite a number of times. Is when we were doing our SSE. I think these days they call it WASI.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think my first attempt was in 2001, 2002. It didn't go well. You know what that means. And then remedials still didn't go well.
Okay.
And the third remedial, and I'm like, look, this is not working for me. But then I felt if they could maybe give me a different way of learning, maybe another way of engaging with the past questions, because those days was mainly paperback. So I said, okay, well, how about using maybe Microsoft Access, to make it more interactive? Then you can see your results immediately and why you got it wrong. Maybe something like that could make it easier and fun. So I tried that out with a lot of diskettes. And then I started selling them in front of internet cafes in Takrady. Then people started catching up with it. And I'm like, okay, it looks like people prefer this fun way of interacting with the past questions than having to use the paperback books.
Right.
So that's how it started for me. I was just trying to see if this could help me, then maybe I could pass my fourth one. But unfortunately, I never went to write the fourth one. I was busy building the campus.
But it's a very interesting, point from then on. You've worked at this, and over time. Now, at what point did you realize that you were onto something that you could make a global success of?
So I think that was around 2011, 2012, all right? Because between 2005, I think 2004 and 2006, 3 institutions piloted our web version, because eventually the diskettes became obsolete.
Yes.
So we moved to pen drives. But I decided, no, let's jump the pen drive and go straight to web. and then we started using PHP, and then we started using some open source tools to kind of complement what we were developing. So somewhere in 2005, Regent University adopted it. So that gave us a very clear environment to test what works and what doesn't work. Then Ghana Technology University, at the time it was Ghana Telecom University.
That's correct.
It is 2007. They also adopted it, and that gave us another environment to try what works and what doesn't work. Then the Department of Computer Science, they have their own association at the University of Ghana. They also adopted it, so that gave us another place. And then I think the School of Physics and Engineering in KNUST also adopted it. Now, these people were able to adopt it because at the time we're part of the Ghana Multimedia Incubator Center project at High Street. We could use those leverage to the UNDP, Ministry of Communications, and then attend this kind of event, showcase it, and it's okay, come try it. At that point, we realized, okay, if all these key institutions and stakeholders see value in what we're trying to do, then I guess I found what I was created to do.
Wow. Now, the opportunities that technology represents or presents to us today is almost infinite, what we can achieve as people with technology. The space of education, can you gaze into your own crystal ball and kind of give us a sense of what we can do, the transformative effect of technology leveraged on education?
So from what I have seen in the past and what I foresee, sometimes we overemphasize what technology is, and then we lose the essence of how simple a tool is just. It's just a tool. You see, when technology, then people begin to get a bit worried. People get a bit, withdrawn from it. Why? It's just a tool. The chalkboard was a technology, please. Before then, we're using our fingers to write in sand, and then somebody did chalk and decided to do a blackboard. That was a huge tool. Was a technology. So why are we not scared of that one? But we're scared when we start mentioning things like artificial intelligence, deep learning. It's just a tool. So the same way you need pencils, pen, books, crayon, it's just another tool like that.
Okay.
So if we begin to accept it at that level, then the conversation becomes more inclusive.
It does, actually.
But when we overemphasize it, technology has to do, then those who we want to help, which are teachers, school administrators, they start building defense, blocking the opportunity. Then decision makers at the maybe Ghana Education Service or the ministries will start bringing in more tighter rules.
You're absolutely right when you say that it's important we look at it as tools because, when people have looked at the cell phone today or smartphones as tools for communication, even when it's underutilized, when some people can take a smartphone and shoot an entire movie and edit it on that smartphone.
And we an Oscar.
And then there are those who take the smartphone, and this is not any disrespect to anyone.
Of course.
They do WhatsApp, they look at Facebook.
Yeah, that's what they need the tool for.
Exactly.
It's okay.
But it never, the quantum of work that can be achieved doesn't scare them. So
that's the acceptance
that's
I want us to look at.
That if we
can
only
see it as that, as a people, it's just a tool. So where it applies, apply it. Where it cannot, don't apply. You cannot use an 8 was screwdriver to open a 10 or spanner, right?
It's got an 8 spanner
I go to the shop and it's like, mommy 8,
yes.
mommy 10, mommy 2. I'm like, what is that? They're spanners. You can use a 10 spanner to open an 8 screw
bolt,
or bolt. So just as a tool is. Now, as a country, how do I think we can apply this tool called technology to our education space, having been a victim of it several times?
Let's go into trying to answer the question you just asked. We have a deficit of tools.
Of course.
And I'm using the word tools loosely because the teachers, the numbers required to impart, we have a limitation on. The technology is now ubiquitous. do you see a point where we can bring these two together to multiply the effect of training without necessarily hiring more people?
Yes,
how can we leverage this tool to reach more and more people, make learning fun, make it easy and non-scary as it is for some people, especially during a period where we have more numbers, and it's as though it's just like a housing situation.
Yeah.
We have more people who need to be trained and educated than we have the input or the capital, human capital, to make that happen.
Supply, yeah. So the demand is up here,
and the supply is way down there.
So technology can help us bridge that gap, but in what way? So I'll try to make it very practical.
Yeah.
Without teachers, there is no education. Let's not take that away. There is no way technology is going to replace teachers. I keep saying this. So teachers, you're actually in a better position. You are calling the shots now, because whatever is in your head is what we're going to feed into those AIs. Without that, nothing happens. So you're the most powerful people here in this conversation. So grab that opportunity.
Okay.
So we need teachers. Now, what kind of teachers do we need? We need teachers that can use their time to do what they were trained to do, to teach. The teachers we have today, because of demand, because of structures, because of limitations, we have teachers doing marking. Teachers spend most of their time marking scripts. Because if he has 400 students, because she's teaching she's teaching maybe class 4, A, B, C, D, E. So at the end of maybe the week, if she's given 2 assignments or 2 assessments, she needs to mark over 400 scripts. And then tabulate all of that and then grade them and decide who is doing well here and who is doing well there. That's work that is not teaching, or that's just marking. We can automate that so that the teacher has more time to teach. Very simple one. Number 2, if the teacher has more time, now there are several things the teacher can do. The teacher can upgrade themselves, they can do more research, and they can be more quality delivery. Because the teacher just bought some time by eliminating having to sit and mark 400 scripts, 500 scripts. And what that means is that they can even give more assessments, more assignments, more classwork, because she's not worried about if I give 5 classworks in a week, when I'm going to get a time to mark.
Or even be able to create a closer relationship with the students.
Of course.
So they can tell, okay, because you see, there's something interesting about your own story, that you gave it your best. I'm sure you tried 3 times. It may be the way that your learning style may not have been picked up by your tutors, and that if you were giving the support that is unique to you, you probably would have flourished and done it in the first time.
Exactly.
So if we can free the teachers with technology, what you're saying is essentially that we'll spend more time with the students and be able to unearth the gems that we have amongst them.
Exactly. And then take it a step further. This technology, if that technology is handling the assessment for you, it can tell which questions are connected to which topics or subtopics. Okay. So over a period of 1 term, you will know by just watching a screen that Cecil is struggling with probability, but he's so good at vectors. Where is the connection there? Okay, who else is struggling with vectors? Cecil can help that. So all of a sudden, my classroom changes. I can teach 4 topics in a day by grouping them according to their weaknesses and strengths. Compared to today, I can only teach 1 topic a day because everybody must follow the train, whether I understand or not. The teacher wish he can do that and help everybody, but where is the data to show the teacher that Cecil needs help with probability, but Nhyira can help him? But he's also good at vectors, so he can also go and help the vector people. So join this group for a while, practice your probability, supervise, then after 1 hour, they move me, and I go to the vector place. There I'm a champion. So my self-confidence is up. In 1 day, 1 class session, you've taught 4 topics effectively. Compared to today, you can only teach 1 ineffectively.
I think
that's what data and technology can do for us.
I think this is a brilliant idea. I mean, if you had data where you're able to analyze that, you'll understand a lot of things. But you know what else this scenario you just described would do for us? It's that you'd also teach collaboration.
Of course.
One
Teamwork.
of the
soft skills.
five things that the World Economic Forum has predicted is going to be critical for the future of work. That we ought to be able to communicate, we ought to be able to collaborate, we ought to be able to do critical thinking, but just being able to work with other people. So you would have built the confidence, the leadership skills, the collaborative, abilities of the students, but you would have made people stronger where they're strong. You would have also helped them bridge the gap where they needed the help.
That's why working teams.
38 minutes past 1. This is the Executive Lounge with me, Nhyira Addo. If you have any thoughts on how technology can be leveraged on our education, do share it with us on 0244340437. That's the WhatsApp line. And if you want to phone in, you can phone 0302216541. My guest in the studio is Cecil Sena Nutako. He is an education technology entrepreneur and also founder of eCampus. Now, help me appreciate exactly what eCampus does. So I've been, I signed up yesterday.
Okay.
I had just been checking out the web version, but I signed up and started, looking around. And it's quite interesting that I felt it would be only for pre-tertiary content, but I recognized there was content for corporate stuff, orientations. There's content on there about African history and all of that. Help me appreciate
the depth of
what eCampus is.
So, the philosophy is the world is your classroom, and that classroom should be in your palm. We learn every day, right? So I want to be able to track whatever it is you learn.
Right.
People have interest in a lot of things, all right? So what we're trying to achieve are three major things across board. One, we want to be able to predict whether you will pass or fail a standardized test. Any standardized test. Nursing, licensure, midwifery, aviation, air law, any standardized exam, junior high, senior high, mention any standardized exam, ACCA, whatever. So far as they have a final exam standardized, if you use our platform to test prep, we should be able to predict whether you get B, A, C, D, or not. So
and how is this going to work?
So we use a point ending system that ties all the questions to various topics. So we're able to tell which topics you are weak in, which topics you are strong in. We feed that to our Nile. Our artificial intelligence is called Nile. Just like you have Alexa, Siri.
So you have Nile, which is
intelligence.
Intelligence.
So Nile, in GAN.
So
Nile processes all of that and says, okay, if I compare to the standardized text, for the past 5 years, question 1 to 5 has always been on sets. And there are another 6 questions on vectors, another 7 questions on probability, another 10 questions on maybe simultaneous equations. So you've interacted with 100 simultaneous equations on our platform. You've got 50%, you've got 50 of them correct over a period of 10 times that you repeated it. So your chances are, if the exam presents 4 simultaneous equations, you get 2 of them correct. So using that analogy, I'm trying to simplify. You can actually predict and say, okay, if you take an exam in math for junior high school, BC, tomorrow, you get B.
Wow. So if I signed my children up on something like this, as a parent, as a teacher, as if you look school right authority. Down the value chain, school authority.
It's a government.
What kind of a dashboard would I have bought for myself?
So you've just bought an advanced report card.
Okay, please explain.
So a report card, when is vacation, right? Your child brings a report card home.
Yes.
Or when they reopen school. Sometimes I don't understand why they give it to them when they reopen school.
Yeah.
And that's because the teachers have to stay and mark.
Yes.
I'm supposed to get it when I vacate so I can go fill my gaps before I come back. So that report card you get, normally it comes for maths. They say classwork, 40%, exam, 30%, total, 70%. Very good. I'm just giving you an advanced person that said, okay, that classwork, 40%. Actually, 10% was from vectors. 2% was from probability. 0% was simultaneous equation. 10% was from what? Sets. I'm just giving you something that you can try and understand the human being. So maybe he's not that bad at math. So it's only probably that he's struggling. Compared to a parent saying, as for my child, he's not good at math. And you say, which part of math? Then they will just discourage a child. But imagine a parent saying, you're a math teacher and I'm a parent. So my child is struggling with probability. Can you help? Compared to a guy saying, where are you even going to start as a teacher? So we're just trying to make it more intelligence reporting. And if we can get that kind of detailed report for 1 million students across the country and analyze that data, you will see trends. And in that trend, governments, educational stakeholders, NGOs can use that data to plan reforms, to plan resources that they need to invest in, to see what works, what doesn't work.
Wow. This is some brilliant stuff. I'm just looking at the time. We've got 17 minutes to go, and I think we can have quite a decent conversation in that. But I know for a fact that this is not enough for us. We'll find a way to make it work. But if you have thoughts or questions, please send yours through our WhatsApp platform. It's 0244340437. My guest is Cecil Sena-Nutakor. He is an ed tech entrepreneur and founder of eCampus. And it's interesting. I want to talk to you a little bit about, you've painted a picture about what eCampus can do. I see great potential in this, and I'm sure you've committed more than 15 years of your life to this because you also do see great potential in there. Let's talk about other entrepreneurs who are finding that their peculiar challenge may have inspired something great to be birthed. How have you been able to keep to this passion of yours and stuck to it and being patient? Because in this day and age, if you do anything remotely brilliant technologically wise, somebody will come and offer you some money and buy it off you.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've been offered a few bits here and there.
A number of no's.
You said a number. I mean,
a number of no's.
We're in this. At the end of the day, no matter what, how passionate you are about something, there are bills to be paid. So, at what point and how have you ensured that you've stuck to this thing to the point where you can grow it further, as opposed to take the option of, okay, someone offered me money for this great thing, I'm just going to sell it and move on?
I think one of the things that keeps me personally going, my co-founder is not too happy with some of the decisions I make because we need to live and survive. But I feel we are not done with eCampus yet.
Okay.
That drives me. So, it gets so very interesting. Version 3.0, which is where we are now. I can do so many fancy stuff. The people come like, okay, we want to offer you this, or we want to get. I'm like, it's not ready yet. Because of time, I just explain only one thing that it can do, and I want to keep it that way. Next time we'll talk about the second and the third.
Okay.
So it's like it's an unending journey, and I also want to be a part of that journey. So I feel it is not done yet. So you give us another 2 years and come back. Maybe by then it's done. Then they come back and it's like it's not done yet. But what has helped us also is that consistency has made us attractive to investors.
Okay.
Because they realize that if I put money into this, sister's not going to wake up tomorrow morning and he's now an agri-tech guy. He'll stick to it. So that consistency will have helped get the investments we've gotten so far. And it has also helped us understand the problem better. Because the more we engage with the target users, we get a lot of feedback.
Okay.
The eCampus that was on diskettes is not the eCampus you see today on the various app stores.
Right.
And most of that has been sticking to the passion or the idea and allowing the consumers to shape the idea. That's what has really helped us. And the more consumers or the more users we have and the more feedback they give us, the more I feel I will let them down if I don't implement those feedback and I just go for the money.
Okay. Now, we have a question on the WhatsApp platform. I don't see a name on this one, but he says, how are teachers being engaged in this?
Yeah. So what we're doing at the moment is to present it to teachers as a tool that will help them assess their students on a personal level.
Okay.
Even if the institution, because of bureaucracy, some institution will take longer for them to adopt it. But as a teacher, if you want to make your teaching or your delivery better, you can put your assessments on eCampus, or you can encourage your students to have access to eCampus. They go to ecampus.com.gh, they download it. A subject is about 83 pesos a month. If you want to invest, you can invest in them. Maybe 100 cities can invest in a lot of students in your class. And let them take our assessments. Now, we share those reports with you So you as a teacher know that my class of 30 people, I know who is strong here, who is weak here. Rearrange your class and begin to give better results. Parents will begin to notice the results coming from you. Your authorities will begin to notice the result. Then they'll ask, what's your secret? What happened? This is the tool I use. So I'm able to give more assessment. I'm able to understand my student better. And I'm able to give them what is very personalized to them. Then through that could become the breaking point for other teachers to come on board. So we actually have a space for them within our framework. We call them eCampus Fellows.
Okay.
So teachers, you are encouraged. I told you in the beginning, this is your power play. It is for you.
Okay. Right. Message coming from. Okay, please add your name and where you're texting us from, so that we can acknowledge you properly. It says, congratulations to Cecil. Technology is transforming education all over the world, and in Ghana, the earlier we embrace it, the better. EdTech is the new-ish in education. Interesting stuff. Now, as an entrepreneur, listening to you today, I've come up with an idea. Help me appreciate what kind of discipline it would take, or what I need to do to ensure that I don't shortchange myself. And with this, I think of the WhatsApp story. WhatsApp was offered something in the region of about, I think, 80 or 800 million or so. I mean, they compared to what they sold it for, which was a couple of billion, that's a lot of money. So I think it jumped from 800 million to 19 billion just because the guy said, no, we're not selling at this point because we think we can develop this thing more. Sometimes, Charlie,
you need to survive.
You need to survive. So what will it take for an entrepreneur to stick with the program and not sell themselves short? Please prepare your answer. Let's engage with this person on the phone. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
Could you please turn down the volume on your set and talk to me? Forgive me. And what's your name?
My name is Eric.
Eric, thank you so much for calling into the executive lounge.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Stephen, good afternoon. This is Eric Bota.
Oh, Eric.
Nice, right?
Just a quick one. I wanted you, if it's possible, to give me information as to the usability of your platform when it comes to kids. And I mean real kids. Just like somebody like 10 years, thereabout. Whether it's usable or not. I have been on your platform. I know because we are a bit tech savvy, it's easier for you to, go around it. But will you, as we speak right now, say that your platform is good enough for kids like 10 years, 12 years, thereabout?
Okay.
Its usability is what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right. Eric, thanks very much for the call. And if you're listening and have a question or a contribution, dial 0302216541. So you can take Eric's question and then come into the other question.
Kids from 10 to 12 are already approaching junior high school. So that's very usable for them. Right, very usable. It's even easier to use than Facebook.
Okay.
Now, for kids below 9 years, we call that eCampus Prime. We're heavily working on that. That's more gamified. So now I need press square, and he has to say, this is a square.
Okay.
Right, but use an accent that they can relate to.
Yeah.
And you can have them draw. And that's kind of building a whole game environment.
Okay.
So we're busy working on that. So the moment you hear eCampus Prime, that means from 9 years to 0, they can now play with. But for now, from 10, that's from
so you incorporate a lot more play into that.
So that we can accommodate the primary schools. That's why we call it Prime. So I don't want to give you dates, but I can give you dates for midwifery, which is March, but Prime, give me some time.
Okay. Well, let's go into that answer.
Question.
The entrepreneur.
So, there are two things I've learned over time, right? Two mindsets: build to sell or build to keep. Whereby build to keep doesn't mean you own 100%. No, I don't need 100% of eCampus to survive. But I'm building to keep. I'm not building to sell. The build to sell is a good model. It works for others. And if you have that mindset, there are things you have to do differently.
Right.
And if you have the build to keep mindset, there are things you have to do differently. There are two different paths on the entrepreneurship journey. So I chose to build to keep, right? In the sense that this is a Ghanaian product. All our developers are Ghanaian. All our employees are Ghanaian. Everything we've done since day one has been done by Ghanaians. And it's being used in Jamaica, it's being used in New York, it's being used in Israel, it's being used in South Africa, it's being used in Nigeria and Liberia, built by Ghanaians. That means so much to me more than a house in Trasacco. Seriously. That whole idea. And if we can build it to what, $1 billion revenue, then now I don't really care who owns it anymore. I've made my point. So that's where we're going. We're building to keep. Let's prove to the world that a brand like this can come from Accra.
Okay. Fantastic stuff. Comments coming through. Ajiman Joseph in Tema says, good afternoon. How do we face the challenge of network failures in dealing with the use of technology? You want to take that?
So last Friday was International Day for Education. It's a UN recognized day. So we have a partnership with ABCDE and then Vivo Energy.
That's right.
They have the license for Shell. What we've done is, because some schools and some areas cannot afford high quality internet speed, they don't even have access to computers and all those challenges. These corporates are beginning to partner with us to bear the cost.
Okay.
So as I speak to you, Vivo Energy have actually signed up 500 students, 300 female, 200 male SHS students onto eCampus for a whole year.
Okay.
We're getting other partners coming who are saying, okay, we can supply fiber optic internet on their campuses to now benefit from what Vivo has paid for.
Okay.
And then we're getting others to come in and say, okay, I can provide some used laptops, used desktops, and tablets. So
that's a good
collectively, alumni and all of that, we can fix that problem.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, and thanks for calling the Executive Lounge.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from, and then go into your question.
My name is KB.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Teddy. What's your comment or question?
Yeah, I quite wonderful program listening to. Brought to our education in Ghana today. I think it is making very laudable ideas. I don't know whether it's from the Ministry of Education or Ghana Education for that matter. But he could later explain that as, I'm a PTA chairman in one of the schools, in a public school in Ghana, in Lower Maya constituency. Last term, all we learn is that the government did not encourage examination of the primary section. And some of the school children started to complain, discouraging some of those things. I want to know what concern can you raise today? Because it looks as if when I do cross-check, the whole country is a nationwide listing that primary section did not take examination. I want to know why the system is going this way.
All right. Well, Teddy, thanks very much for that call. We'll see if Cecil has any thoughts on that. But Cecil, Martin sends us WhatsApp and says, I didn't see any technical courses on the platform. What are your plans going forward in that regard? And then another one here says, did I hear him say the platform can be used for all professional courses like tax, logistics, accounting? And this is PK from Ridge. Okay, so let's take those two answers.
Yeah, so PK, any standardized exam. So even the Ghana Stock Exchange, their exams, you can use it to prep for it.
Wow.
We want more. We want even more. We want more. The whole idea is to help you predict whether you're ready or not. We don't issue certificates. So we're just helping you to know whether you're ready or not. Don't go pay those 300 euros and fail. It's embarrassing. So, and even if you have something you can teach, you bring it. We'll put it there.
Okay.
Right?
That's
now,
interesting.
with the PTA chairman, right? The idea that they're not going to be taking exams, let's not take it out of context. Assessment is not always about sitting behind a paper and taking A, B, C, D.
Okay.
So there are different forms of assessment. So if you can try and understand how are they assessing the primary school kids? Are they assessing them through play? Are they assessing them through verbal? So they should explain to you what assessment they are using to replace the traditional sit down behind a paper and a pen or pencil to write an exam. So let's understand there are two different things. Although exam is a subset of an assessment, it's not the only way to assess people.
Okay.
So let's get the details of what kind of assessment
Are
they
they going
apply
to?
to primary school. Then
Okay.
we can have a broader conversation around that.
Fantastic.
Now with the MVTI, so we've been working around getting the vocational and technology content in there, but they are very practical. So in 2017, 2018, what we piloted was a virtual reality content. So if you go to eCampus, you see what we call eCampus labs. So you see labs. You go there, you see a few, virtual reality labs around it. We had a few challenges in terms of the resources required to even render those, virtual reality content.
That's right.
And then following the step by steps. So at least it's possible, just that it requires a lot more resources than we thought. So we're still in talks with MVTI to see if we can select some critical experiments and then work on those ones gradually, because the whole thing is expensive to produce these VRs. And there's no point putting it on eCampus the same way to the book for them to read. Then what's the point? You need to go a step further where you can actually use virtual reality, augmented reality to assemble an engine. That's where we're going. Charlie, rendering some of those things, the computing power. So if you have some money, come and invest, and we can we can do it quickly for you.
Oh my goodness! Look, it's a shame. This is a great conversation, but we have very little time, and so we're going to bring it to a close for now. Look out for the TV edition. I'll have a sit down with Cecil for a chat on Executive Lounge on television, which airs on Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. And then on Sunday evenings at 9:30 on the Joy News channel. And now here are my 5 takeouts from this conversation. Number 1 is that your biggest hurdles actually hold a lot of lessons in there. And if the perspective with which you're looking at it is what makes all the difference. Number 2 is that you never give up. You never give up. You keep going. And number 3 is also that whatever it is that you desire to build it so it lasts beyond you. And it keeps your passion going, and it attracts like-minded people to join you to do so. Number 4 is believe in yourself.
Of course.
Believe that as a Ghanaian you can create something that will touch lives around the world and showcase the mental capabilities of the Ghanaian and the resilience that we have. And for me, finally, is that learn to say no.
Oh, yeah, sometimes. Ghanaians, you don't know how to do that.
Yes, learn to say no.
No, I'm sure it's not your fault.
That's right.
And then finally,
yes,
you can go to www.ecampus.com.gh. Ecampus is one word. ECAMPUS.com.gh. And then you can explore.
Absolutely. Cecil.
Thank you.
Shortest interview on this show, but it's only the beginning. This is a conversation that we're going to do more of. Really, I'm grateful that you made time to join us.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for coming. And for you, thank you for listening. And we've got more programming coming your way as we celebrate 25 years of excellent broadcasting. Arba Kumsing is bringing you the headline news at 2 o'clock, after which Lexus Bill will come through with a whole bunch of energy to drive you home on your favorite late afternoon award-winning show, Drive Time. For now, it's 2 o'clock and Arba Kumsing is ready. Arba, what's in the news?
A lot has been happening.